Hello everyone, and welcome to a special recap and analysis of the November 29th, 2025 episode of Jeopardy! It was an absolutely electrifying game, and if you missed it, don't worry. I'm here to break down all the key moments, shocking wagers, and brilliant plays. Our returning champion, Sarah, librarian from Chicago with a two-day total of over $60,000, faced off against two new challengers, David, a history professor from Boston, and Maya, a software engineer from San Francisco. The game started off with a bang in the Jeopardy! Round. The categories were quite diverse, ranging from literary first lines and world capitals to the science of cooking and before and after. David, the history professor, immediately showed his strength, jumping on the buzzer in the world capitals category. He ran through the first four clues, correctly identifying Canberra, Ottawa, Brasilia, and Islamabad, quickly building a solid lead. Sarah wasn't going to make it easy for him, though. She found her footing in literary first lines. Correctly naming the sources for it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. And Call Me Ishmael. The first daily double was uncovered by Maya under the Science of Cooking for $1,000. This point she was in third place with just $1,600. David was leading with $3,800, and Sarah was close behind with $3,000. Maya decided to make it a true daily double, wagering her entire $1,600. The clue was, this Maillard reaction is the chemical process responsible for the browning of bread and the savory flavor of seared steaks. Maya took a deep breath and correctly answered, "What is the Maillard reaction?" A gutsy move that paid off, doubling her score to $3,200 and putting her right back in the game. The crowd loved it. As the first round continued, the competition remained incredibly tight. Sarah dominated a category called 80s movie quotes, showing a surprising pop culture expertise. David, meanwhile, was all over the presidential nicknames category. By the end of the Jeopardy! Round, the scores were incredibly close. David was in the lead with $6,400. Sarah was in second place with $5,800, and Maya was not far behind with $4,200. It was anyone's game heading into Double Jeopardy! The Double Jeopardy! Round introduced some brain-busting categories: Shakespearean insults, calculus concepts, art history movements, 19th century inventors, and words that end in ology. The higher dollar values meant the scores started to climb rapidly. Sarah, our returning champion, immediately went hunting for the daily doubles. She found the first one early under art history movements for $1,600. She was in the lead with $8,200. She decided to wager a conservative $3,000. The clue, led by artists like Monet and Renoir, this movement was characterized by its emphasis on light and visible brushstrokes. Sarah confidently responded, "What is Impressionism? Correct?" Her score jumped to $11,200, giving her a nice cushion. But David was not giving up. He found his rhythm in 19th century inventors, correctly identifying Eli Whitney, Alexander Graham Bell, and Thomas Edison on high-value clues. Momentum shifted back in his favor. Then, with only a few clues left on the board, David uncovered the second daily double under calculus concepts for $2,000. This was a pivotal moment. He was trailing Sarah by just $2,000. He had $10,200 to her $12,200. He decided to wager $5,000, a move that could either give him a commanding lead or put him in a deep hole. The clue was, this fundamental theorem of calculus links the concept of differentiating a function with the concept of integrating a function. David paused for a long moment, and then correctly answered, "What is the fundamental theorem of calculus?" A brilliant and risky move that paid off handsomely, rocketing his score to $15,200. Going into Final Jeopardy, the stage was set for a dramatic conclusion. David was in the lead with a strong $16,000. Sarah, our resilient champion, was in a close second with $13,800. Maya, despite playing a great game, was in third with $7,000, not quite within striking distance of the lead. The category for Final Jeopardy was American landmarks. This is one of those categories that can go any way. It could be about a building, a monument, or a natural wonder. The final clue was revealed. Constructed in the 1930s. Its official name is the J. Edgar Hoover Building, but it's more famously known by the three-letter acronym of the agency it houses. The music began to play, and the contestants furiously scribbled down their answers and wagers. This was a tough one, testing knowledge of both architecture and government agencies. First, we saw Maya's response. She correctly wrote down "What is the FBI building?" and wagered her entire $7,000, doubling her score to finish with $14,000. It was a very strong finish for her. Next up was our returning champion, Sarah. She also had the correct answer. What is the FBI building? Now, for her wager, she needed to bet enough to pass David if he got it wrong. She wagered her entire $13,800. A gaffer-broke move that brought her final score to a massive $27,600. The pressure was now entirely on David. Finally, Ken Jennings turned to our leader, David. He had $16,000. He also wrote down the correct response. What is the FBI building? The question now was his wager. To win, he needed to have wagered at least $11,801 to surpass Sarah's total. We saw his wager. He bet $12,000. Just enough. David's final score was $28,000. He won the game by a mere $400. What an incredible finish. Sarah played a phenomenal game, but David's clutch daily double and smart Final Jeopardy wager secured him the victory. He is our new Jeopardy champion. What a game. It had everything: big risks, lead changes, and a nail-biting finish that came down to the final wager. Congratulations to David on his win, and a huge round of applause for Sarah and Maya for an amazing performance. What did you all think of that Final Jeopardy clue? Did you get it right at home? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching this recap, and be sure to like and subscribe for more Jeopardy breakdowns. See you next time.